Check. We're live. Okay, there we go. I wanted to jump on with a quick live just to give you a couple of updates, things that are happening, and give you a few insights into some conversations that I seem to be having over and over again. Firstly, a couple of updates. So you will notice, if you haven't already, the Visionary Vault is live. That is a incredible, bingeable, quick fire series of trainings. If you look on my feed, you will find the link. If not, go to thefemaleentrepreneurshub.com. You will find the link in there. There is also a new space opening up. So those of you who might remember my Facebook group, and I am opening up a new community. It's a new community that is different to what I previously had. And the links are going to be going out live soon. It is a free community that I'm gifting you access to. It is not a Facebook group. It's being held away from Facebook. Yes, you can download the app. Yes, you can have it in the app. Yes, you can visit the website, whichever one works for you. It is called Behind Her Business. It is giving you 2 insights a week into what it really takes to build a multi-six, 7-figure business, however that looks for you, but it's giving you a behind the scenes insight 1 day a week into my business, and it's giving you a behind the scenes training 1 day a week as well. So make sure you look out for Behind Her Business as well. That is coming up. What else has been happening? Make sure as well, if you haven't looked at Her House of Power, you look at that. So all of my one-to-one, all of my VIP days are now booked out. Her House of Power is the only way to get to work with me and my team in close proximity. Definitely go and have a look at that. There are 3 different pathways that you can come into depending on where you're at, what you need in your business. There is a bespoke or one-to-one pathway. There is a group pathway. There is a self-study pathway where you still get some proximity to come in and ask questions and things as well. So make sure you go in and take a look at those. But I seem to be having the same questions over and over and over again, all around scaling with sustainability, creating more sales, and people feeling like they're chasing clients, even though they are absolutely incredibly brilliant at what they do. And it's because they're using these surface level strategies, or strategies that are a bit spray and pray. So I'm just going to do it and it just sort of happens, and I'm not really sure quite how. But actually creating that sustainability, creating that inevitability, creating that movement that creates momentum is where your business will really grow from. And this is what I've done across all of my own businesses. It's what I've done with all of my clients, turning your business into something that goes from inconsistent months to becoming magnetic and becoming a level of sustainability and predictability that gives you safety and certainty, because you move differently in your business when you have that level of safety there. Can't speak. When you have that level of safety there, when you have that level of emotional resilience, when your nervous system feels relaxed, so you feel like, yes, I can take that opportunity, I can take that risk. And this is about becoming undeniably visible. Because when you do that across multiple spaces, you automatically build that predictable flow of magnetic leads coming to you without you having to sell your soul, without you having to burn out and just do more and more and more and more. So if you are relying on one channel online, you are sabotaging your own growth. I am not saying be on every channel, because that is a full-time job in itself. But what I'm saying is, if you are building your business on social media, you are effectively building your business on somebody else's land, on something somebody else owns, and it could disappear at any point. And for that reason, building solely on one platform, or even across 2 platforms that are both owned by the same company, is a really dangerous strategy if that is your entire lead generation strategy. And equally, throwing up a few posts online and jumping into your stories and hoping that somebody DMs you is not a funnel. It's not a strategy. It's you praying and hoping that somebody's going to see it and somebody's going to drop in because they're going to resonate it. I see so many times women who have incredible experience, incredible certifications and credentials and businesses, just sat waiting for a referral to come in, waiting for somebody to resonate. launching offers and then getting ghosted because their audience isn't there, ready, primed to buy from them. You know, or they have the most insane month, 3 months, 12 months even, and then they can't repeat it. They can't do it again because it was by sheer chance, by sheer fluke. And this is because their visibility and their strategy hasn't been designed. It's been a default of what they go back to all the time. So you end up in this fight or flight mode all the time. You end up in panic if your DMs are quiet. Every month feels like almost you're rewriting it again, you're starting again, and that's not sustainability. And that's definitely not what freedom looks like. Because if you're building from that space, you actually don't have freedom because your entire ecosystem, your entire business is built around you and you being in it and you doing the do all the time. But equally, having this level of sustainability and predictability doesn't mean you're always glued to your phone. What it means is that you've created this system that feeds your business daily. And there are so many ways to do that. And it's important that you build the system that is right for you, your business, your clients, and the lifestyle that you want to lead. So it might be being across lots of different channels and being visible across lots of different channels. So yes, you might be on Instagram, but you've still got email marketing. And yes, email marketing still works. Absolutely. Just don't sound like an AI robot. You know, and making sure you've got the funnels in place that are automated, being on podcasts, being featured on interviews, collaborations. It might be LinkedIn, it might be TikTok, it might be YouTube, it might be private voice note outreach, it might be intentional DMs, it might be real life referrals, affiliate programs. The idea is that you meet your client where they're at. You don't wait for them to come to you, you meet them where they're at. How people are buying has changed massively over the last 12 to 18 months and is still evolving. And I can tell you now what is working for you for sales now will not work for you in 12 months' time unless you keep this evolving. The other thing you can be looking at is things like evergreen visibility. Not everything you do should disappear in 24 hours like some of our social media posts do. You know, lead magnets that build on autopilot for you, nurture sequences that sell for you, repurposed content that can build trust for you. You know, showing up as an expert in other spaces that you don't own. These things are the difference between you having a job and you having a business. Because you did not leave a 9 to 5 to get stuck in another 9 to 5. There's no point. We do so much and we put so much emotion into our businesses that we don't want it to just be another 9 to 5 that we become to resent. You know, make sure you're doing connection-driven sales. Cold DMs, cold emails work for some businesses. So I am not saying don't do them because do you know what, they work. You know, I have clients that have built their business solely on those, but there is also a power to having an invite for the right people to take the next step. And you do that by qualifying them in your content, by qualifying them by the energy you show up in, by qualifying when your systems capture them in. So connection, yes, does mean the cold outreach because those might not convert at that point, but they will convert over time. But it also means that you're able to take your audience from just watching to how do I work with you? And you're able to do it daily, predictably, consistently, so that you don't have to rely on, always being in your business. You know, the strategy behind it is essential, but so is the energy. So are you really showing up and being seen in your business? And not just showing up as a bit of a, oh, I'm just going to because it's total congestion, but actually showing up to be seen with conviction, unapologetically, completely owning your space. Because there are so many incredible female business owners out there who are visible, but they're missing that bit, the connection, the conviction, the unapologetic power, the leading. They're posting, but they're not leading. They're still diluting, they're still waiting, they're still expecting, I'm going to do it when it's perfect, I'm going to do it when. They're still second guessing themselves. And when you come from a place like that, you are never going to be magnetic. When you come from a place of being completely unapologetic, you being able to stand up and be completely undeniable, your visibility becomes so powerful. When you stop editing yourself so that you fit in, so that you can people please, You start taking up space as you. And when you start taking up space in that way, you become a category of one. You become part of the strategy, your story, your voice, your values, your beliefs. You turn those lurkers into buyers. Because it's not all about the people who engage. It's not all about the people who are showing up and liking and commenting and sharing. You turn the lurkers into buyers. Sometimes they are your most powerful next client. You know, clients get to come in even when you're not launching. You know, showing up and saying what others are afraid to say, showing up and sharing you, showing up and sharing your process because it's so valuable, and it is. Showing up and being the voice of your brand, not just your face. It's not about shouting the loudest. It's not about being the loudest out there. It's being undeniably you, undeniably, magnetically you, so that people are naturally drawn in. So if you want more leads, more sustainability, more freedom, more flexibility without being stuck in your business, you need that visibility strategy that's intentional and that's across multiple spaces. You need that lead generation system that runs even when you don't. You need the courage and the confidence to stand up and be seen as you, as an expert in expression, not doing more, doing what works, doing it deeply, doing it sustainably, doing it for real, not pacifying it a little bit, doing it a little bit, doing it in theory, doing it for one launch, but doing it for the legacy that you're ready to create. You don't need more hacks. You don't need more hints, tips, roadmaps, blueprints. You just need that strategy that sits with who you are and honors who you are and allows you to position yourself as the one to watch. Be powerful, be predictable, be visible. Build out something that is really going to pay you back. We are 6 months into this year. If you live the next 6 months how you have lived this 6 months, where will your business be in December? Because if you cannot 100% stand up and say in December, I am going to be absolutely celebrating achieving this, achieving this, achieving that, and all of the things that in January, when you set those New Year's resolutions, when you set your 12-month plan, you said you wanted to achieve. If you are not going to achieve all of those things, you need to be looking at why. You need to be looking at what you need to do differently. I know that the women coming into her House of Power, which is a 6-month program, coming in this month, I know the sorts of power transformations, results, celebrations that we are going to be having before December, but definitely in December. I know how they're going to transform their business because they are going to have that strategy to be able to do it inwardly in themselves and within the business. So what do you need to change over the next 6 months to be able to do that? And if you do not know, if you are like, I know something has to change, but I don't know what it is, there are 2 options that you can dive into that are not going to cost you a penny. Absolutely not a penny. So I run the visionary shift calls. Visionary shift calls are around looking at those next steps in your business. What do you need to be doing next? What do you need to be tweaking? What needs to be changing for you to be able to have the business that feels as good as it looks on Instagram and for you to live the life that you truly desire? I will pop the link in the comments when I finish this because otherwise it'll probably kick me out. That's what usually happens. If you know that sales are your issue, if you know that sales are the problem that you keep having inside your business and you just don't know how to get more, come and speak to my sales team. Come and speak to my head of sales, who is absolutely insanely incredible. Like, she will tell you what you need to change. I am opening up spaces to be able to support you for nothing. I will put the links that you need for both of those into the comments as soon as this is finished. So make sure you come back and you click those links and either come speak to me on the Visionary Shift calls or come speak to Genevieve on the sales calls. I want to create a new paradigm for female millionaires. I want to get money into the more hands of more women. I want to change women's lives. But you have to stand up and you have to be able to take the moves to be able to do that. So I'm going to go pop those links into the comments. I cannot wait to speak with you. I cannot wait for you to speak to Genevieve. But come in, let's start transforming something. Let's start moving this. Let's start really changing what the next 6 months are going to look like for you. Because if you do not make the change now, you are going to end this year in the same place. And what's more scary? Showing up and taking the action, doing the things, or sitting on New Year's Eve and saying, what if? Because to me, that is the scariest thing, to think, what if I had done that? What could I have missed out on? If you have been in any of my containers over the last week and a half, you will know that I have shared, I am showing up and I am doing some stuff that is scaring the hell out of me right now. But the results, like the feedback, the things that are happening inside the business are insane, because I am not going to end 2025 without having created huge impact, huge income, huge momentum shifts. And I want you to join me. So I'm going to go pop those links in now. Make sure you are clicking the links, you are coming in. I cannot wait to chat with you.